Okay, Weekend Homestead. It's hot in the barn. Final installment, solar panel time. Got the solar panel here. We're gonna get it hooked up, take it out of the box. We're gonna get the rest of our system hooked up. First episode, you saw me hanging all the lights in here. Second episode, we got the inverter and everything working behind the door. Now we're gonna get the solar panel working and we'll have a fully functional off-grid system here. My total budget for this project is $600. That's what we have into it so far. My hope is that we can get it running today, and it'll be a lot better than the amount of money that the power company wanted me to bring electricity into this building, which was $18,000. So, how to save $17,400 this week on the Weekend Homestead. Okay, so we opened up the box. We've got our solar panel. We've got some cables. We've got a couple of boxes. Let's put it up on the bench and see what we got here. All right, so we got some boxes and some cables. We got two 8-foot cable sections to bring the power down from the solar panel down to the charge controller. We got some nice heavy-duty wire to take the signal from the charge controller into the battery. And we got two boxes here. Let's see what these boxes are. Looks like some mounting brackets to mount the solar panel. And then this is a solar charge controller. What this guy will do is basically it will charge the battery. So the solar panel comes in here and this goes down to the battery. What this does is it makes sure that the battery does not overcharge. Really, really simple system. Just a couple simple wires. This wiring comes down and goes into these ports right here for the solar. These ports here, which are these wires here, go from this unit down to the battery. Not really much to it. So let's get this thing put together. Just as a temporary aside, we're gonna go up on the roof, but it won't be like last time's up on the roof. This time I'm gonna go up, just set a spot up there to put the panel and get everything hooked up. We're gonna just run the wires in temporarily. I'm gonna mount the panel up there temporarily. Eventually, once we get closer to winter time, I'm gonna have a raised bracket that the panel will go up on, but I wanna just test this out to make sure that everything's gonna work properly before we really get into it. So first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna run the negative wire in. We're gonna mark it so we know the length and everything on that, and then I'll run the other one in and we'll be on our way. All right, so we are outside here. You can see our cables are right here. They run up right there and inside. We've got them coming in and down, past our switch, right inside our charge controller there. There's the positive and the negative. Now I just need to hook up the battery, positive and negative, and we are on our way. All right, so we got our battery back in the spot. We've got our two wires connected up, and you can see we have lights on our charge controller. What that charge controller is doing is telling me that I have green power to the battery and that we are on a sealed battery, which this is. All right, now let's go outside and we'll put this bad boy out there and see what happens. Here's the cool thing about solar panels. You can't mess them up. They only go one direction, which is cool. So what we're gonna do is temporarily, I'm gonna have this down here, let it run for a little while and make sure everything's okay, but eventually we'll get it mounted up top up there. But for right now, we're just gonna test this out, set it out here, see how it charges and see what our results are. Now solar panels have a certain pitch and an angle and everything else that you need to do. There's a website out there I just went to where I punched in my address, and what it did was it told me what pitch it needed to go to. If you guys remember that paper protractor that we had, basically it says that I need to put it in the summertime at about 25 degrees and in the wintertime at about 45 degrees. What I'm gonna do is we're gonna go up with the protractor later, figure out what the angles are, and mount it right up on top of the roof. But it'll go right up above us, right up on the roof up there. All right, let's go in the barn and see if we got power. Take a look at this. It only took me less than a day to get the whole workbench all covered with junk. The PV light is blinking, saying that we're charging. Battery light is on, the gel light is on. We got our inverter installed. All the wiring, the main switch right there, and runs up outside. This wiring comes across to our switches and our outlet, and all the lights up on the ceiling. It's a cool project. I've never done anything solar before. This is kind of my first attempt. This is kind of the beginner's guide to solar. I'm not a scientist, I'm not an engineer, I'm none of those things. I'm just a guy who had a problem. I needed some light in my barn and I needed some spots to charge stuff. So I went online, did a little bit of research, came to find out there's only a couple of simple components. There's the solar panel, there's the charge controller, there's the inverter, and the battery. And basically, the simple thing to think about is, mosquito. The simple thing to think about is you just need to know what you're going to be running, how long you're going to be running it, and that'll tell you how much battery power you need. Then the other thing you got to figure out is, okay, if you're going to use that amount of battery power in one day, how much solar power do you need to recharge it? That's really it. That's the simple of it. So now that we got this all set up and running, we're going to monitor it for the next couple weekends to make sure that we're not overtaxing the system. But as far as I can tell, this thing's going to work flawlessly for us. I do have a voltmeter that I am going to install down there so I can check on the battery regularly to make sure that we're not overcharging it. And my hope, again, like I said, was to get the solar panel mounted up on the roof. Once we get that done, this project was pretty simple. The craziest part about this project was the electric company wanted $18,000 to bring electric up here. For a simple $600 system, I solved my problem. I've got electrical in the barn, I've got some lights, I got some really simple system, something fun to learn about. Nice thing is since this is a beginner system, I can add onto it at any point in time. I can add more batteries if I need more storage, I can put a bigger inverter on there if I want to run larger things. So as our needs change, this system can grow with us. That's kind of the cool thing about getting into it. If you have an off-grid property or an off-grid project somewhere and you're looking to get power, I'm telling you, a lot of people are nervous about solar. It really isn't that challenging. There's really no problem at all with it. So we're going to enjoy the power up here. If you do have any questions, leave them down in the comments. Otherwise, this has been the Weekend Homestead, living a simple life, one weekend at a time. Catch you guys in the next video. Thanks for watching.